Hi, welcome to Rita's Rescues. I'm Rita. This is my sidekick, Pumpkin, and we're here today to tell you about our show, and we want you to know that it's really important that you learn everything you can about your animals, how to feed them, how to take care of them, and when I adopted Pumpkin, I rescued her from a local shelter. And I began learning everything I could, and I decided I wanted to share it with you. So each month we'll be sharing a little bit of what you can do to take care of your rescued or adopted animals. And remember, don't shop, adopt. Hi, welcome to Rita's Rescues. I'm here today with Donna Decker, and she's from the Ohio Voters for Companion Animals. So I ran into that group over at Dog Show recently, and I wondered what it was they did. And when I investigated, I found out they do a whole lot to help us to get laws passed and help us protect our animals. So Donna, thank you for coming today, and we're happy to have you here.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, and you brought a friend with you.
I did. This is Bubby. He is a Rottweiler mix.
Mm-hmm.
He's representing Gem City Roddy Rescue, Roddy Rottweiler.
Mm-hmm.
He is not up for adoption because I fostered him and I failed. He's basically our dog now. So
it's one of the things about fostering. Every now and then you do fail, but it's worth it.
It sure
and when
is.
we say we fail, that means nobody else can have our dog.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
We call that a failure. Well, tell me a little bit about your group. I'm real interested in finding out more about what you do.
Ohio Voters for Companion Animals, let's call it OVCA for short, got started a little over 2 years ago by a group of people who recognized that we really need to focus on getting laws on the books that protect companion animals, laws that are effective, and laws that can actually be enforced, because there's sometimes a disconnect there. The group is a 501c4 nonprofit organization.
Now, that's different than a 501c3.
Correct.
How is it different?
The 501c3 is very limited in what it can do as far as any political related work. Lobbying, supporting certain bills, whatever, people. A 501c4 allows us to do that, and those are all designations put out by the IRS, and they have a whole set of rules and regulations that you have to follow, no matter which one you are. The C4 is still a nonprofit. When people give us donations to support our work, unfortunately we can't give them a receipt for it because they can't claim it on their taxes. So it really makes us really appreciate every dollar that comes our way and be good stewards of it as we pursue the goals that we've set out.
Yeah. Now you're all over Ohio.
Yes.
You're statewide.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me some of the laws that you've worked on, some of the things that you've done with this group.
I've been with them about 2 months. Been following them for longer. unfortunately, when we work on a particular law, it seems as though it can take a long, long time to actually see that law come to fruition.
Yeah.
There are some laws that take 5, 6, 7, 8 years of being in Columbus before they actually get on the books. But we were working on 11 different laws last session, and only one made it through.
Wow.
The rest of them died.
And which one made it through?
There was one bill that was put forward to include companion animals, usually dogs and cats, in official protective orders like temporary restraining orders and things like that, primarily relating to domestic violence, or the prevention
Well,
of
that's
it.
a really important one to get through then.
It is.
Because a lot of the domestic violence situation, the people don't want to leave because they have to leave their animals.
Exactly.
And,
Exactly.
you know, if someone's going to abuse a person, they're going to abuse a dog or a cat. So that's really great to hear.
Yeah. This year's session, there are bills that have been introduced already to deal with tethering dogs outside, putting some limitations on that,
Yeah.
with 3 or 4 other items, and my mind has just gone sideways on me
Yeah.
a little bit here. So, but there are 4 bills, and we're waiting for some more to come on board. So.
Okay, great. So now all the people that work with you are all volunteers.
Correct.
How can someone get involved with your group?
You can go to our website. We have an application process for volunteers, and you can start the process right off our website. If you become a volunteer, I can tell you that you will be involved in just about anything you can conceive of. Doing TV interviews. I never thought a year ago I'd be doing anything like this.
Yeah.
But we also spend a lot of time trying to help the public be aware of what kinds of protections these animals really need. And that is a lot of just talking with people.
Yeah.
And we've done town hall meetings, we've done round tables where we would have different experts in the field come and speak, and it's time for the audience to do questions and answers. So that just about anything you can think of, you will probably get a chance to do.
So how many people are involved in your group?
I'm guessing right now 12 to 15, but, and I'm hedging because we're constantly bringing new people on board.
Right.
What our hope is, we've sort of divided Ohio into 8 sectors with 11 counties in each sector. And what we're doing right now is putting in place sector leaders who will sort of be out in the field, probably more so than our executive staff would be, our steering committee. And those folks will in turn help us identify people in the counties that are a part of their sector. And basically we hope to have a network that not only can we send information out through the network, but we can also get it back. So that's kind of where we are right now. And we're always looking for people who have a heart to do the kind of work that we're doing.
Yeah. And I would imagine everybody in your group is already a dog owner.
As far as I know, yes,
Yeah.
multiples. Multiples. Dogs, cats, obviously.
Yeah.
We tend to talk more about dogs because the bills that are in front of the decision makers in Columbus are generally about dogs,
Yeah.
but also cats.
Yeah. Okay. All right, well, we'll be back in a few minutes and we can talk more with Donna and learn more about her group. So stay tuned, we'll be right back.
He's Scooter, he's neutered, and the coolest cat you will see. He always struts, he's got no nuts, and that's why he never springs his pee. He's not spraying. Other felines are so mean, not the cats without their jelly bean. Be cool. He's Scooter, the neutered cat.
Find spay and neuter options as low as $20 at GiveThem10.org.
You will typically smell the facility before you actually walk near the cages.
If they're not required to have heat, they don't have heat. They're never taken for walks. Vets can be expensive, and that would cut into their profits.
I know it's going to be a bad situation when you have the above-ground wire bottom cages because the person is trying to be very efficient.
This is a business. People are in it for profit.
The sad thing is it's legal. They're allowed to do this to these dogs.
We had one of the worst states for puppy mills, and that was primarily because our #1 industry is agriculture.
They view these animals as cash crops, as agricultural products.
I don't know much about the dogs.
They're not real dogs, they're livestock.
So there has been a tremendous amount of organized opposition to efforts to increase the standards of care. And most of that opposition, quite frankly, is coming from huge agricultural groups and industries. These are groups that have nothing to do with dogs.
They get loads of campaign cash from these agribusiness groups because that's the funnel for the legislation that these agribusiness groups want.
All you have to do is look at who's funding these front groups to see who's really benefiting from them.
They weren't enforcing it because they knew the kennels weren't compliant. That was a sign that there was way too cozy of a relationship.
They are extremely powerful. They influence our legislature. They influence our local communities through their economic might.
We need good inspection. We need vigilant enforcement. For those who are really abusing these animals, I don't have any sympathy at all.
They say they're the dog's best friend. This is no way to behave if this is your best friend. God help those poor dogs if that's their best friend.
These are elected officials and they work for us, and we're going to make sure they work for us.
I never lost sight of the fact that the people have the power to change things.
I will use my voice because they don't have one, and I will keep doing it until there are no more puppy mill dogs.
And what we have as a movement is 1 million households who care about animals and who are willing to pick up the phone. And being able to tap that power, that is what should make any puppy miller terrified.
Okay, and I mean, if they come after me, let them come after me. I don't fear them anymore.
Hi, welcome back to Rita's Rescues. I've been having a nice talk with Donna here, and we're going to talk a little bit more about her group and what they do. I'd like to know, do other states have a group like yours where they're meeting with people in the legislature to really get laws passed, like that protect the domestic violence cases? Do you have knowledge of what they do in other places?
I'm seeing more of it. I don't personally know of any individual groups like ours that focus solely on that aspect. There may be some out there, I just don't know about them. But I do know that there are any number of animal welfare, animal cruelty groups, companion animal groups who are recognizing that until you get really good laws on the books, you can't do the things that you need to do. You can't guide the community to do what it needs to do.
Right.
To protect the companion animal.
Yeah. Now, how are you working with police to educate them about, you know, when they have encounters with animals, you know, to protect the animals as well as the police? They need to be trained. So how does your group help with that?
Right now we are looking at what we can do to support legislation that's already been introduced in Columbus to include as a portion of mandatory police training some significant amount of study on learning how to read a dog's behavior, and also to learn how to de-escalate the dog's anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware that there have been a number of cases nationwide where police officers in various roles have had to shoot, or thought they had to shoot, a dog who seemed very agitated.
Yeah.
And may really have just been a family pet trying to protect its home.
Right.
So we're looking at ways to support that, and we're certainly doing whatever we can do to encourage police departments to think seriously about including that in their training.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it's mandatory
I think
or
that
not.
would be a really important part. Yeah. Now, your name, Ohio Voters for Companion Animals. Define what you mean by companion animals.
Right. We stick very closely to what the Ohio Code says, which is primary law. Basically, the language there says any animal that is kept in a person's dwelling, a residence, or a dog or a cat, no matter where it's kept. Those are all considered companion animals.
Yeah.
We tend to focus again on dogs and cats because they're the most prevalent.
Right, right. Okay. And how do you feel you're accepted by legislators? Have they been open to listen to you and really work with you on creating laws or changing laws?
I think they're listening. I really do. I was lucky to be able to attend a training session the Ohio State Bar Association presented a couple weekends ago. One of the segments that they had was a group of 4 Ohio legislators, 2 senators, 2 representatives. And they were asked specifically questions that dealt with what were their thoughts on working with lobbyists or citizen advocates, you know, regular citizens who came in to advocate for certain things that were important to them. And to a person, they all said, we need to hear from you. You know, we can't be experts on everything that comes into our office.
Right.
And that's why we have to rely on people who do know about it. And the interesting thing, I thought, was that legislators are simply people. And we forget that.
Yeah. And they can't know about everything.
No,
right.
they can't.
So you need to be the voice for your animals.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. So what kind of people are in your group? I mean, is it mainly housewives that are home, or is it professionals, people that work? What kind of mix of people do you have that volunteer to do this?
We have people from all over the spectrum. We have 2 or 3 people who are executives in large companies who have a passion for animal welfare. We have 3 other people who work in trades. We have a writer. We have a retired Italian person, that's me. Any number of folks bring all kinds of talent to the mix.
Yeah.
Which is really the best way to do it. So.
Yeah. And I would assume that everyone is very passionate about what they do. You know, when you volunteer, you know, and give of your time, you have to really care about what you're doing, what you're volunteering for.
Right.
Yeah. Now, how did you get into fostering? I'm really a supporter, and part of what I want the show to promote is adopting and fostering. So how did you get involved in fostering? And tell me about the other animals you have at home.
My husband and I have had dogs and cats well, since we first got married. We generally gravitate toward larger dogs. So a dog like Bubby fits us very well. We got into fostering when we realized that a lot of the people that we knew who were ran rescues no longer could afford to have facilities. You know, they don't have their own shelter, they don't have their own kennel. And what they're depending on now is for people to step up and say, I can take a dog into my home. And really it's the best thing for the dog. They become socialized with lots of people. They learn basic manners because you're teaching them. And they learn to be around other animals.
Right.
And we've been really lucky. We've been blessed by having 4 or 5 dogs who all completely different, but just phenomenal pets. This is the one we couldn't let go.
Oh, I can see why. He's like a big old teddy bear.
He is.
Yeah. Well, I know around here we have animal shelters, but they get overloaded. You know, they're filled to capacity sometimes. So every time you foster, what you're doing is you're taking them out of the kennels, you're allowing another one to come in, and you're saving a life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, I get a lot of gratitude from that. So I really think it's important that we promote that. And a lot of people say, you know, well, I don't want to foster because I can't turn them loose. But the first time I fostered, I remembered how hard it was, but I knew it was going to, at home, I knew I had saved a life, and it made it worthwhile.
Absolutely.
So it's really important to do. Do any of the other people in your group do fostering?
I'm still learning about their animals. I know that they've all had experience in working with, you know, volunteering for rescues. So I'm assuming that most of them have have done either gone into the kennels to work or have brought animals home from time to time.
So now, do you get help from the group that you foster for if you have to take him to the vet, you know, or with food? Do they help you?
Every rescue group handles that a little differently. Most of them will take care of the veterinary needs. Food, it depends. We don't mind paying for food, for treats, for toys, that kind of thing. But for the veterinary care, they have a veterinarian who works just with their whole group of dogs.
Okay. And what do you feel is the big barrier? What is something you would like to see changed in laws or in dealing with legislature? Is there a barrier that you really feel you need to break?
I think probably one of the hurdles that we have is having people be fully aware of the consequences of not spaying and neutering their animals. The thousands and thousands just of animals who are euthanized every year just in the state of Ohio could fill a couple of football fields.
I agree. One of the statistics I saw was over 3 million dogs are euthanized every year. And we could really drop that number if everyone would spay and neuter their pet.
Absolutely.
That's a really important part. Okay. Well, it's really been nice talking with you. I really appreciate what your group is doing, and I hope we can get some people interested in helping you out. If they want to volunteer, they contact you through your website. And I thank Buddy, hey Buddy, for coming today.
He's obviously
Yeah,
at
he's
ease.
probably asleep, pumpkin asleep. So we thank you for tuning in to Rita's Rescue. And we hope you'll tune in again. And Pumpkin's snoring, she's ready to go home to go to bed. So have a good day, and thank you for watching Rita's Rescues. Bye now.